to Josh Johnson Show. I'm Josh Johnson, joined by my co-host, fellow stand-up comedian Logan Nielsen. Logan, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Did I tell you about West Nyack?
West Nyack?
Yeah, West Nyack.
Oh, yeah, that was some shows you had recently, right?
Yeah, okay.
No, we haven't talked about that. Honestly, though, you said Nyack, and there's a community college in town here called Nyack. I'm like, did you do a show at Nyack and you didn't have me?
No, that would be wild if I came to you.
To where I live.
That's the one time
you didn't even let me know.
I'm sorry, man. I got to be in and out. My bad. That would be crazy. No, I was doing a club that's in West Nyack, and okay, so it's in the mall, right?
Okay,
and I had a day at this mall, so like the show was fun, the show went well and everything.
Yeah,
but I don't know what I was thinking as far as when I should get in. So in my head, I'm like, let me go ahead and get in hella early, so I don't have to worry about traffic. I don't have to worry about cutting it close, like people waiting on me or anything. So then I picked a bus that was just far too early. Like even though West Nyack is like technically, it's technically upstate-ish New York.
Okay, it's still in New York?
It's still in New York, and it's only like an hour from the city.
Okay.
So hour and a half from the city. Gotcha. But for whatever reason, I'm thinking like Albany in my head. Like no one. I didn't look at a map. No one told me to be this early. But I'm so early. I'm like maybe 4 hours early for the show when I get there. Right.
Oh, geez.
And so now I'm just walking around the mall because it's much bigger than I thought. I thought the thing was one floor. And then I got to the balcony and looked down, and it was forever. Like it was like 4 floors of mall. And so they had go-karts again, right?
There we go.
And as I'm walking up, because in my head I'm like, what should I do first? Because I had my backpack with me as well, because I decided to just spend the night at the hotel they provided rather than try to figure out how to get home that late at night after the show.
Yeah,
and
that'd be a whole thing.
I went ahead. I'm just walking through the mall, taking stock of like what shops they have, what food, what entertainment, like just getting a full briefing. Because for whatever reason, I didn't look any of this up ahead of time. I genuinely was like, this is all Googleable, and I was just like, nah, I'll see it when I get there.
I like that he's being like, for some reason, this is also a very Josh thing to do.
But like, maybe I just wanted to be surprised. I have no idea. So then. I
want to give myself a little treat.
Yeah, I just want to be surprised. I haven't been in a mall in so long. The last mall I was at was the one with that security guard, that whole thing that we talked about episodes ago. So
that was last year. That was last summer when you were at Acme.
Yeah, so I've not been in a mall in quite a while, and so I like malls. We've talked about this as well. I like malls.
We did a whole episode on malls. Yeah.
So this mall is really great. It really is. It's really like chock full of stuff to do on top of lots of shops, Yeah. So it's not just shopping and then I guess we'll eat at the food court and then just sit and be sick and leave.
Can you move your mic a little closer to your mouth?
Yeah. Yeah, is that better?
Yeah, a little bit. It just, you sound so like distant though still.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, there we go. There, that sounds better.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on. Maybe your gain's really turned down or something.
Maybe I twisted it wrong. And so.
Oh, you know what? I wonder if the mic is facing.
Oh, you're right. You're right. 1 second. Yeah.
That's way better.
Okay. So this is good now.
Yeah, there we go. Now
okay. I really should have just. Should I restart the whole episode? Or?
No. That's fine. We'll leave it in.
Anyway.
You can still hear it.
So then I'm walking around the mall and I'm taking stock of what's on each floor. So that way I can just, by the time I get to the first floor, really plan out the perfect mall day, Because this mall has an AMC. It's got go-kart racing. It's got axe throwing. It's got a little like obstacle course in it. It's got VR, all this stuff. And so I mean, honestly,
This sounds like your mall, man. This actually sounds like a perfect mall for you to be in for 4 hours.
we should actually go back because it's like you would be surprised how fun it is in there. It's just I had a day anyway.
Okay, next time I'm in New York, we'll take a trip upstate.
The only thing that made the experience horrible is that I was alone because then you needed another person to do so many things.
Right.
Anyway,
Joshy the mall rat.
I get over to the go-karts, and as I'm walking up, and it says go-karts up to 50 miles per hour. Speeds up to, yeah, so they're like
inside?
Inside. Okay.
Holy shit.
I'm walking up, and let me see if I can find it. I'll send this to you right now. I didn't get a good enough one, but I took a picture. I felt bad taking a picture because I wasn't sure if this person was let me see. So I'm walking up. I'm walking up to the track, and you can hear them, like you can hear it whizzing. Like you can hear the like they sound like outside, inside, okay? Here it comes. 1 second. Okay, so you'll have to zoom in here. But I took a picture. When I'm walking up to the go-karts, there is a loud, like when I say loud, I'm talking about like you hear a crack. There's a huge crash, okay? And someone was booking it, and then they just had almost too much grip, and then they turned into a wall and they crashed. When they crashed, their helmet didn't just come off. It flew off their head and it bounced onto the track. So I thought a kid was dead.
You thought that was a head?
In my mind, like when you get hit by a car, we talked about this. When you get hit by a car, sometimes a shoe will fly off.
Yeah.
Oh, I've never seen someone crash and their helmet popped off. Like obviously that means the helmet just wasn't on right, but the fact that it popped off and bounced like Final Destination, I thought I was looking at a dead kid.
Man, in this track, in this picture, like it looks like a pretty small indoor go-kart track for them to be going 50 miles an hour.
Yeah, so then
that's wild.
It says
how is not everyone
up to 50 miles per hour. So like,
how is not everyone dead in here?
So when you zoom in the picture, do you see the guy standing next to the go-kart? That kid, okay. So just to paint the picture for the audience, the kid drives into the wall, right? So he takes two sharper turns, drives into the wall. His helmet flies off and bounces, and immediately I think I was alone, and I'm very embarrassed about it. But
immediately Josh starts mourning.
I gasped, because in my head, when you see a helmet bounce on a racetrack, that's always death. You know what I mean? Because a helmet is like a wheel. Anytime you see a loose one on a track, you're like, whoever lost that needs that.
Yeah, like if it was a movie, you'd like have right before the crash, then you'd cut to just the helmet rolling in slow motion down the road, and then you'd smash cut to a funeral.
Yes.
Like that's how you would do it in a movie.
Yes. So then
it's not a good image.
So then I did a big gasp by myself. Next to what I hope wasn't his family, because there was some. I had walked up to the track at this point because you could just watch the track from the regular mall. Yeah, I mean, just from standing. So now I'm standing at the track and I'm like, and there's a woman that's like, oh my God. And then she's like covering up this little kid. So like in my head, I'm like, that's his family, you know?
Oh, God.
And so he crashes and he's doing this thing where his hands are on his head, but I can't tell if it's out of embarrassment or because he hit his head so hard that the helmet flew off.
Okay, maybe he's like, I was wearing a helmet.
I was wearing a helmet, right?
Where did that? I swore I was wearing something.
So then I'm just standing there for a little while. Like everyone's just standing there for a little while, and they stop all the cars. So all the cars are like, frozen on the track. Mm-hmm. And And then the guy walks up, and the kid's like, he's talking to him, but the kid just keeps doing this, like rubbing and touching his head. And I'm like, did he hit his head? Is he still like that perplexed where the helmet went?
Mm-hmm.
And because the helmet's behind him. So basically, he hit the wall. The helmet flies off his head, bounces off the wall, and flies over his head behind him.
Okay.
But I think maybe he just blinked or something, and it all happened so fast. He was just like, so this is death. Because you don't need a helmet in heaven, you know?
Well, I think I just found a bumper sticker we need to make. You don't need a helmet in heaven.
And it's just an angel with a brain injury. Like,
yeah, with that, and then a sorry about your Brain King shirt, we're really leaning into head injury with our merch ideas.
And so finally, this kid, the guy's still talking to him, and I don't know if he asked him to get up or if the kid just wants to get up, but he gets up and he hops out of the car, and like an F1 race, people were like clapping. Like my man was brave. Like, you know what I mean? Like he did it. Okay.
Yeah.
And he did look like a teenager, so I'm sure he was just embarrassed.
Yeah.
Because he didn't look hurt at all.
That's the clap of like, oh, he is alive. Okay,
yeah,
good. Okay.
Yeah. And so after I saw the
when
crash,
a football player gets up and he's like, oh, he can walk. Okay.
Oh, yeah. He can walk. He does have the CTE, by the way.
Yeah.
The fact that he was on the ground that long means he's hurt. But he can walk.
He can walk, though.
We have to feel less bad about this now.
We don't have to worry about it right now.
Yeah.
If he couldn't walk, we're all worried right now.
Yeah. So basically, he gets up. He starts, walking to the gate, to like the holding area for people to watch. And in my head, I'm like, it almost feels like an omen. It's while I'm walking up, there's a crash.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if there's crashes all the time, but as soon as I saw that kid get out of the cart and walk away, I was like, I think I'm good. I think I'm not that good of a driver anyway. Like, I was really excited to do it as well. I was like fully hyped to do it.
Right.
Anyway. So I
gotta do a show later. I can't have a brain injury.
Yeah. So then I'm walking around like, okay, so go-karts is off the list. I'm a little hungry. I'm thinking this Joe's Crab Shack is going to be a great place to have lunch, Mm-hmm. And so I go on the hunt for the Joe's Crab Shack because on the mall's map, it says that it's back up where I was near the Target.
Okay.
And so on the 4th floor, so I got to go all the way back up.
The 4th floor? This is a big-ass mall.
It's a huge mall. It's
That's
so big.
That's like a Mall of America, level mall, if it's got 4 floors.
Yeah, it's just not as long
big,
as Mall of America. But it is, right. Floor-wise, it's wild.
Damn.
So then I'm looking for the Joe's Crab Shack forever. I finally just give up because I just don't see it. And I'm like, well, there's this place called Red Crab. So I guess I'll just go in there. And
that sounds like the broke version of a seafood place. And I do Red Crab.
I sit down. I'm like dejected because I'm like, man, I want Joe's Crab Shack. Mm-hmm. And then a table.
Give me Red Lobster. Just give me Red Crab.
Yeah, yeah. And so then across from me, there was a family eating. And I'm sitting there for quite a while, and as I'm like ordering and everything, the family is just like, didn't this used to be Joe's Crab Shack? And the other one was like, yeah. And I was sitting there like, why didn't I realize immediately? Oh, yeah, this is probably just Joe's Crab Shack was out of business, and somebody was like, I have an idea. Crabs are red.
Mm-hmm. Listen, I bought this restaurant space, and they left all these crabs.
They left a bunch of crabs, a few mussels, and some scallops.
And everything's got a reddish hue to it, so we'll just do that.
I feel like this is how you start a business, you know, with the old seafood of the last place.
Yeah.
A couple customers just going to have to get a little sick to get the word out that we're here.
Yeah, because they'll talk about it.
Yeah. So then after that, I go to the arcade, and this is actually where it gets like very sad. So there's a Dave and Buster's in this mall. There's another arcade, I think, with another name that's like brandish, but I don't remember what it is. And then there was just
Jesters.
something like it was like it. Honestly, I couldn't tell you because I just kept passing it because I didn't want to go in that one. For some reason, I was just like, I don't think they have good games in there. And then I walk into the arcade that's near the comedy club, and almost everything needs two people. Like
Aww.
I even did the basketball one.
By myself. Just a sad montage of Josh at 2-player arcade machines.
This is what ends up happening, though. I'm like... I'm essentially like trying to do everything that I can that's solo, but I'm also the only one in the arcade, and there's only one guy working the arcade, so he's just watching me go from game to game playing by myself. like I'm I walk in and I'm like, hey man, so how does it work? Like, do I pay you or what? And he's like,
first go make some friends.
yeah. First come back with people. So then I'm like, hey, how does it work? Do I pay you or what? And he's like, you can if you want, but there's a machine over there that just, you know, it's a card that you load and stuff. And he starts explaining to me. So it works just like Dave and Buster's.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm like, I'm playing the basketball one where the rim just keeps like going forward and backwards. And I get in one. Like in the entire round, I get in one basket because like my aim just every time was off because I was trying to guess where the rim would go. And then every time I try to play again, it says waiting for more players, and it makes me wait for 30 seconds. Just to remind me that I'm by myself.
Yeah. Yeah, surely no one would play this alone.
Yeah.
Let your friends tag in, yeah.
That's why there's another basketball goal right next to this one, because it's supposed to be a competitive game. And then I did the punch. They had the punch one where you test the strength of your punch. What? That is the game.
I wasn't laughing at your description. That is seeing just someone do that by themselves with no one around them.
Yeah.
It's just
I probably
like,
look slow. Like
here's a lonely, angry man who wanted to just punch something.
It would be funny if that dude was filming me and he's just like incels day out. It's just me at the arcade. Just punching the knockout machine. I just wanted to say 999 so bad. And even though I'm getting angrier, I can't seem to punch harder.
Ooh, it's going to be hard not to title this one Incel Stay Out.
And so
my friends didn't show up.
I'm like cranking it too. First of all, I play it. Admittedly, I play it too many times. Like I play it like I have a problem. This is my only outlet. Swipe. Oh!
Yeah, like you just came from a court hearing. Gotta go work this out right now.
Yeah, I'm furious that I won custody.
Yeah. Yeah, like the kids in the car.
Kids in the car. Bump. How do I keep still getting like halfway? I'm so mad. I should be knocking this thing through the roof. So,
Oh man.
I play it way too many times. And then there's air hockey, and I had a moment of silence for how I would have dusted your ass if you had been there. And
Yeah, I mean, when you're by yourself, you can really have fantasies like that because you wouldn't have to face reality.
kid, let me tell you, all right? I would have sunned you, okay? I would have beat you so bad that I would have had to buy you the baseball cap with the fan on top. All right?
You would have played that punch machine way more times to work out the frustration from getting your ass ruined.
No. You, yourself, you, sir, Logan, the individual in front of me, you, yes, you
Me, sure.
would
Me,
have
the guy
been
who's really good at air hockey.
screaming with how much you would have been losing.
Well, I always scream when I'm victorious. Like, put my
Losing.
hands up.
Losing.
I'm not familiar with that term because it doesn't happen when I'm around you.
That's very cute, but we both know that you would have been destroyed. Anyway.
Okay. I'm just saying you were lucky you were by yourself.
Anyway.
I know you were I know you're sounding sad, but you were very lucky to be alone in this situation. Otherwise, I would have ruined your day. Continue.
You would have ruined nothing. My day would have been made from seeing the tears stream through your beard onto the wispy air of that table, watching your tears float like an air hockey puck. So then I must have been there for like an hour because people finally start showing up, and it just makes it worse. Like, because before I just had to worry about the guy manning the place watching me, being like, "Wow, he's really by himself." And if you think it's sad to be by
He's
yourself,
not happy about it
in an arcade, like the whole of an arcade just to yourself seems like a dream until you realize how many games need another person. So then the only thing,
especially like a mall arcade, because it's not like old cabinets. It's like it's those social games. It's not just like, oh, there's a Galaga. It's not that. It's not like a throwback barcade kind of thing.
Exactly. And so basically the only thing sadder than being at the arcade by yourself is reloading the card to play more games by yourself. When you have to reload the card.
I gotta put more money on this card so I can punch this thing more.
I'm telling you, I had to reload the card 3 times because I kept running out of credits. And it feels crazy initially to be like, oh yeah, let me put $50 on this card. Because in your mind, you're like by yourself. You're like, why would I ever spend that much money? Whatever. But then you spend 10, and then you're like, you run out, but it's only been 10 minutes. So then you get another 10.
How much money did you spend it? Did you put 50 on first and then had to reload after that?
No, I kept putting too little.
Oh, okay. Because the way you said it, I got worried for a second that you spent like $150.
No.
At this arcade by yourself.
No. I spent at first I got $10 because I also didn't know how much everything would cost. So I'm like, I might only play a couple games. Let me not put so much on this card that I have stuff left over.
Right.
So then I did 10 and then I did 20. And then I maybe did another 10 or 20. I can't remember. But either way, once people start to show up, it gets so much worse because now people are like straight up on dates. And so now, I'm like trying to play. I'm trying to play games next to people who are like actively on a date. And they're also like teenagers too.
So they're not even if
like,
it's a date, they're kids.
They're not even like other adults, you know? And so it's just me trying to hit clowns with a ball. And then he's doing the ring toss, and she's like, "Yeah, you can do it." And then anytime I even accidentally make eye contact with them, they both look down. Like I'm like actually trying to get away from them as quick as possible, but my game is still going, and I've already swiped the card, so I'm like, oh, jeez. And it's also not a big arcade. This arcade is like 2 rooms. So then there's like
so everyone sees you at all times.
Yeah, everyone sees you the whole time. And so then I got on this motorcycle one where they don't explain the game at all. So I'm on the motorcycle and they have the throttle, but they didn't what's the thing that you grip that's like, so you have both handles, one has a throttle, and then there's a little thing that you clutch. Is it the clutch?
There's like the brake one.
The brake, okay, yeah.
One of the other, there's usually like a little clutch, like switch or whatever, but it's not like the handlebar. I think. I don't know motorcycles that well. Don't leave a comment. I don't care.
I played the entire thing without using the brakes once, so I kept crashing because I didn't. I would throttle less, but that's not the same as braking. So then I was just crashing horribly, and I'm swinging because it was one of the ones you can lean with. And so I'm like swinging and crashing into stuff, and I'm getting really frustrated. And then there's just like a group of kids behind me because they're waiting to play it together. It was horrible. It like
you get off and go to the punch game again. Ah!
Honestly, it was like, so then I did play the punch game after that because I was like, at least this one you're supposed to like do alone and like no one can judge you and stuff.
No, that second part's not true. That second part's not true of that game.
And so then I played that one a few too many extra times with witnesses there. And
Jesus, John.
And then it was actually kind of funny because when I started playing this other game, remember when we went to the arcade? This would have been years ago, I guess. But there was that drop game where you drop the balls into the cups and you try to get all 50 balls into the 50 cups as they rotate.
I don't know if I remember that game.
Do you remember this? It's like you hit a button and the ball drops per time you hit the button.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay.
So I'm playing that one. From that one, you can kind of still see the punching bag game. And this kid, I felt better about my experience playing it because even if I seem like a crazy person, this kid fully missed. I don't even know how he missed. But he reared back to swing, and like in one of those viral videos, he just fully misses.
Nice.
And then hits it with his head, so it barely goes up. Like it he got like a 7.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm not the only one who's awkward here. That's nice. You know?
I mean, he's got the excuse of being a teenager, but
whatever.
I know.
And I charm
you at least look younger than you are too. Like, because if I was there, I think it'd be worse actually. Because I look like a man in his mid-30s. So.
Well, it helped that
me clearly trying to bond with my adopted son
that you somehow lost. Because if you're in there by yourself, I will say it helped that I had a lollipop.
Well, I meant me with you.
Oh,
is what I meant.
Yeah. It helped that I had a lollipop in my mouth the entire time.
You had one of those big ass lollies.
Nah, just a Tootsie Pop.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I love you.
But I will say, being there by myself was the first time where I was like, yeah, maybe I should start drinking. Because, it's like there's a difference between being in a bar it's a different type of sad to be at a bar at 3 p.m. on a Thursday drinking, like just day drinking. But there's like on a Thursday as well, I know that there's ESPN, but there's no sport on. Does that make sense what I'm saying? So even if you're watching the game having a beer, you're watching a game where the outcome was already determined. Like,
or I mean, baseball games will be on Thursdays and stuff too.
Oh, Thursdays during the day?
Yeah, I mean, baseball is kind of fucking all over.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Yeah. I just imagine when I was passing the sports bar, I was just like, I've already seen this fight like 3 times. These are just highlights. Like, if I was drinking and watching this fight right now, I'd be like, maybe he'll win the third one.
There is also a difference between like just going to, like, because I've done that when I'm on the road where it's like, well, I'll just go sit in this bar and like have a beer and just nurse it. There's a difference between just like sitting down to just have something to do and then drinking. Because if you're sitting there getting drunk at a mall on a Thursday afternoon, that's supremely sad. It makes sense to just sit down and have a drink.
I'm saying, how can you not when you have hours to kill? I think you'd do it by accident. I think you would sit down and be like, all right, I'll just have a drink at this bar, the sports bar. I'll have like a beer. And then you get done with your beer and you realize there's still 3.5 hours until your show.
Right, yeah.
You might have one more and then now you're like, let me eat. And then you eat, but now you're like, I might as well have one more because I still have 3 hours to kill.
Right. And this is why I tend to just hang out like in the hotel room, just so I don't have to worry about any social contracts of any kind.
And so basically, by the time I wrap up, I feel like I've effectively alienated everyone in this arcade. Like, they weren't trying to be my friend, but I think I've like sufficiently made everyone uncomfortable because I did. Okay, so with the 50 balls game, I did get 48.
Nice.
And my yes at the end was a little too loud.
Before you were just kind of alone, and now you're like, yeah, you're pumped now.
I'm not pumped about being alone. I'm pumped that I got 48 out of the 50.
No, I know why you're pumped, but yeah, you're sending a lot of messages to these people.
Yeah. So then I head out. I take my tickets. I get a couple prizes, and I peace out.
What prizes did you get?
It's mostly stuff for Sally.
What?
I told the guy I had a girlfriend.
I'll tell you right now, he did not believe that at all.
So I got her.
Oh, sure. Give this to your girlfriend next time she's down from Canada.
I got her a jumping frog for her desk. So it's the one where you pop the back and it hops up. And then I got her a little parachute army man because she hadn't seen one of those before.
And she went on and tussled your hair.
And then
thank you, Joshy.
I got us a domino set so that we can play dominoes sometimes when we stay in. And I got a fake mustache for her, me, and Chance. What?
You're a huge fucking dork.
Me? What? What? What are you saying right now?
You heard me. You heard me.
What are you talking about? That's super cool.
Oh boy.
What?
Don't shake your head like this whole story hasn't been about you looking crazy.
The fake mustaches is dope. You're telling me that you don't wonder what you, Jess, and Maddie having fake mustaches would look like.
Well, I have a real mustache, so that's never really been a...
Yay for you. You didn't answer my question. If you Jess,
that
and
would be.
Maddie all had fake mustaches.
If we all had fake mustaches, would be very fun. I would not. I would not have the cost of that being an hour and a half alone in an arcade.
It wasn't
surrounded by judgmental teens.
It wasn't the cost because I didn't even know the mustaches existed until it was time to turn my tickets in.
The thing is, you're proving my point by how defensive you're being about your fake mustaches.
I'm not being defensive. I'm surprised that this is the thing that's like breaking you.
No. This was a journey. Okay, there was an arc leading to this breaking. Okay, if you would have just said, "I went to an arcade and I won some little things," okay, yeah, because you use the credits, you use the token. That's fine. I do that too. But it was the leading up to it, and then to still be like, "I'm gonna go get a bunch of toys." I have a girlfriend. This is for my girlfriend.
Yeah. Yeah, let the people know.
It just sounds like someone slowly making it up. Like, no, I'll get mustache. I'll get 3 because we have a dog too. We live together. Everything's great. They're real, and he's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Why don't you go punch the thing one more time? This one's on me. Go ahead, buddy. How'd the shows go though?
It was good. It was good.
Good.
It was a fun time. I feel like there was one other thing that happened at the mall before, because even then, even after the arcade, I still had like 2 hours before the show.
Jesus Christ!
I was like, this has got to be what purgatory is like. Just killing time at a half-dead mall on a Thursday. Wow.
Yeah.
You wait for your show.
That's social purgatory is what that is.
Yeah.
Because you're technically out around people, but you're not around people.
Yeah, that part was rough. Yeah, that's where I ate. I played games. Oh man, it did suck. After I ate, I went back to this place that was called like Aim Point or something, and it looked like an airsoft shooting range. And it looked dope. But when I first passed it, the guy was just by himself, and I was like, let me see what else is in the mall before because I had my backpack with me. I was like, before I put my bag down and get settled somewhere, let me see if there's anything else I want to do. And then I walked to the go-karts, and then I got something to eat. And by the time I was done eating, the airsoft place was closed. So that was one big regret. Like whenever I go back to that mall, it'll be with a person and play airsoft.
Yeah, because the airsoft by yourself would have been the saddest. After spending that time in the arcade by myself, now I need to really go just shoot a gun for a while.
Yeah, you ever can't get it all out in punches? You ever want to hold the replica of a weapon of war?
Yeah. Just really think about something,
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's
Do you ever whisper names when you're looking at the target?
Jeez, with each pull of the trigger. Yeah. These situations are handled up here now.
Yeah. Just recocking it. Steven. Oh, man.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
And you said there was a VR place. Did you go to that? Because that's your thing.
Yeah, I got very sick.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it wasn't a good VR. Like, it didn't look good as far as the graphics. And you need this is the problem with a lot of VR now that tries to do an immersive experience, is that they will then, what's the best way to describe this? They will be so focused on making the backdrop look good that sometimes the depth of the things that are close to you versus far away just feels blurry, looks blurry. You know what I mean? Like there's just a thing of like something's lost in translation here to where you end up with, I understand their design and their idea, but you end up with like PS1 level graphics, and you can't do that in VR or you'll get sick.
Yeah. Because you don't get the proper depth of field and stuff like that.
Yeah. And so that is where I'm like, oh, this is not a fun time. Because remember when I was at the mall, I told you about when I was at the mall in Indianapolis and there was just that lady by herself that was like, I was the only person to do the VR that day.
and you didn't know that you were seeing your future.
Jeez. I was the only person to do the VR. And I got sick at that VR because that one was just also horrible graphics. It was like that again. So
what was the experience? Like, what was it?
It was like a ship where you have
so you can get seasick too.
Yeah. So you have your blasters and it's like moving you as you try to shoot the targets and stuff.
Okay.
But I think also that's another one where I know this doesn't make any sense because the headset is like on you, but I'm pretty sure if another person was there to like give you some range of where things were, you also wouldn't get as like in my opinion as like woozy as I got.
I guess what do you mean by that? If someone else is there,
so they had this thing where people could sit next to each other. They had one that was like for 2 people.
Oh, okay. So you're saying then you'd have like another person
you'd have
in
another
the experience to kind of ground you a little bit.
Yeah, to ground you, like you hear their voice and stuff. So you're not fully isolated in it. And also it looks like your arms would be touching or something. Like there'd just be one thing where it's like, okay, here's where I am.
What you're saying is it'd be nice to have human contact, is what you're saying.
Sure.
Kind of what you're saying is just human contact and human intimacy would solve a lot of the issues at this mall.
Yep. They also had a Jamba Juice. I didn't go to it because I was feeling very ill, but I love me a Jamba Juice.
Well, isn't necessarily a stellar review of this mall, but
I'm gonna go back. Like I think that this mall, once again, this mall is dope. With if you have like your friends there with you, because
if you have love in your life, it's a great mall.
Jeez. All I'm saying is that like each experience was made for more than like even the go-karts in retrospect would have been me trying to beat a bunch of 7-year-olds on the track, like really trying to bully them with my go-kart. Like push their carts out of the way and stuff, which there's some kids you're never going to catch up with because they're too light.
Right.
So then, if they're going 50 miles per hour, but they're only, 80 pounds, I'm never catching up.
That also, I'm just still like in an indoor track, go-karts going 50 miles an hour and then having little kids do them. Like that is just giving a child a car.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which like legally you can't do.
I mean, the fact that they said up to 50 miles per hour, I didn't believe it until I saw that kid's helmet fly off.
Well, even in that picture you sent too.
Can you see the helmet in the picture? Do you see the?
I can't see the helmet, I don't think, but I just noticed like there's the sign at the bottom there, and it says wait time whatever, but it also has pro karting ages 13 plus. So it's like you have to be 13 to get on like the 50 miles an hour carts, or
I guess so.
And there's another one underneath it. That
I
says
didn't
like
ask anyone anything because I was like,
because you had witnessed a death.
Yeah. So okay, real quick.
Yeah.
In the picture, if you zoom in above where it says emergency exit only, and you see that cluster in front of the wall, that's his helmet.
Oh, right above that sign?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Doesn't look like a good helmet either.
Yeah, it does look like something that would fly off your face, right? Yeah. Imagine a scared helmet. Imagine a helmet that's like, you know what? I'd rather not get hit today. And then it just leaves your head.
Yeah, yeah. When the helmet would rather not have the impact.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds fun. Sounds like you had a great time. Jesus. That was the saddest look off you've ever done.
What?
All right. Don't be that way. We got anything else, or do we want to do kind of a longer mailbag, or what are you thinking?
Oh, okay. There was one other thing.
Oh, okay.
So I was going in all these shops, and I wasn't even looking at the names.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just want to go over how I got into this mall because in case anyone ever needs this information. All right. So I took a bus from the city to across from the mall. So it's Lot J, across from the Palisades Mall, right? Then
Wow, this is specific. I didn't think you're gonna.
no. But this is what's crazy. Just hear me out. This is what's
Okay,
insane. Where
All right.
you may even just side with them. Knowing you're not gonna take my side. But this was crazy. And when I talked about it at the show, it got like an applause break because everyone was so annoyed by this. Okay, so you get off at Lot J, and then you walk across. I mean, kind of. It's not a highway, but you walk across the road when you get the chance because there's no light and there's nothing to stop a car from running you right over. But across from that lot.
Wow, I love that you're risking your life to go to this mall.
Well, the show is in the mall. I have to do the show.
Oh, that's true. That's true. The show is in the mall.
Yeah. So anyway, I cross the highway street and I walk into the Home Depot, and I'm in the Home Depot trying to get to the rest of the mall for quite a while. I look like I should be building something with all the, because I finally just start walking down every aisle because I'm like, it has to be one of them, right? And I'm like,
if you're looking around that much, you're surely going to purchase something.
And I got my hands on my hips like a dad with a project. Like I'm so lost in how to get to the mall. And so finally, this guy stops me, and he's like, "Hey, are you all right? Like, can I help you find something?" And I wasn't trying to be dramatic. Like,
Are you all right?
I wasn't like trying to be rude or anything. But I was like, "Oh, I don't want anything from this place. I just want to get to the mall."
Did you say it that way?
Yeah. I was just.
I don't want anything from this place. Is such a great sentence to say to someone at a store.
But
I feel like everyone who's ever gone to a Spencer's Gifts could say that. Oh, I don't want anything from this place. It's just a show, kind of.
I tell him that I'm like, I'm just trying to get to the mall. He's like, oh, and like you can see on his face that this happens like 50 times a day. So then he's like, you actually have to walk out and then walk like a few doors across.
Oh, so it doesn't have an entryway to the mall in the Home Depot. It's just a part of the mall.
The Home Depot is somehow connected to the mall without. They just didn't find it necessary to share a single wall with the mall that they're connected to.
Yeah, no, I've had that where I've been in like a J.C. Penney because I thought it was an entrance, and I'm just like, well, I don't want to be in this J.C. Penney.
Yeah,
I was trying to get to the.
I parked here because I thought this was the north entrance to the mall. And
yes, exactly.
Anyway, so then he's like, you have to leave. You have to walk out and around and everything. I was like,
you have to leave.
God, okay. And so then I walk out of the Home Depot. I walk down a few doors, and when I walk in, it's still Home Depot. Like it's he's actually he can actually still see me from where I've re-entered. And he's like, keep going. And I'm furious because I'm like, why? How is this my job? Just connect the Home Depot to the mall that it's connected to. And so then I walk out, and he didn't mention, which, whatever. He was already doing me a solid. But he did not mention that there's no, like, sidewalk or pathway to walk around and into the Target parking lot to enter the Target to enter the
Yeah.
mall. So then I'm basically in the street, like I'm like in the road, walking around the Home Depot gravel. And then a car
Yeah.
comes, so I just jump into the Target rocks. And now I'm walking up the Target rocks to get to the parking lot to get into the Target. And this has never happened to me at Target. So, like, this is also not my fault in my mind. So,
Yeah.
only Walmart that I know of has greeters, right?
Sure.
So, I walk into the Target and someone comes in at me way too hot. And they're like, hey, can I help you find anything? Like, I'm barely in the door. They're like, hey, can I help you find anything? And I'm like, I don't want anything from this place. I just want to get to the mall.
I don't want anything from this.
And so then their face just drops because I guess they were real hyped to make some Target sales. Their face drops
Yeah.
and they're like, oh, yeah, it's that. Like, just past
Yeah.
electronics. And I was like, oh, thank you. Right.
Wow, they dropped their customer service quick.
Our energies completely and totally changed. So mine reversed and went like upbeat, like, oh, thank you, because I've been walking for quite a while to get to the mall, and theirs was just like, yeah.
Yeah, which like you don't get paid a commission at Target.
Yeah.
I don't think. Like,
So then I'm walking and so then I walk into the mall. I see the club. I see the Dave and Buster's. I see, like, I mean, all the stuff. So fast forward to like after the VR, where I'm trying to get my bearings back on the ground floor. I'm just like, this is the ground. You're right side up. It's gonna be all right, right? And I'm doing this thing where I'm just walking
still
into
on
each
Earth.
store. Yeah, I'm just walking into each store to be like, let me hit every store, you know? Maybe there'll be
and
something.
tell them I don't want anything from this place.
Well, then I because I'm walking in and out of each store, door to door, I'm not actually looking at what I'm walking into. So like there was this one that was like it was called Alternative, and it's like a Native American like clothing and like just like a heritage store, it seemed, right? So there's a lot of cool stuff in there. And there was a hoodie that I almost got because it zipped up across the chest instead of down. And I was like, this is are more people not doing this? This is incredible. And then I walk out.
It also has the word. I just caught there's a pun in there because it's alternative.
Yeah,
native, isn't there?
yeah.
I think I know that's maybe goes without saying, but I kind of was like, oh, that's actually a pretty clever name for a store like that. That's actually kind of a perfect brand,
right? And there's a store that's also in the mall that sells a lot of what they sell, like, you know, crystals and all the stuff like that. That I was like, that place. I feel like that place is copping this place's style. Like,
Yeah.
like if I buy anything, it's gonna be from here. You know what I mean?
right?
And so anyway, I walk out of that store and walk into a Claire's. Now, I've never been in a Claire's before. So at first I was like, these are just enamel pins. Because you know how I bought that jean jacket? So I'm like, oh, wow, look at all these pins. Then I realized they're like rings, like they're like belly button rings and stuff like that. I was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I should get out of
That's
here
where little
now.
girls. That's where little girls get their ear pierced.
Yeah, so I was
is the
like,
Claire's.
and as I'm turning around to walk out, there's a woman that's like, "Can I help you?" And she's all chipper, and I'm like dejected by now. I'm just like, I don't want anything from this place. And then I just sat in a massage chair till it was time to go to the show.
This is like a great story of a day where really nothing happened.
Yeah.
But a lot happened internally.
Yeah. Yeah.
You did find a little corner of purgatory for yourself.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing.
Man.
Oh, I don't want anything from this place. That's fantastic. Oh, well, should we open up the mailbag?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, let's go ahead. I'm going to read some Apple reviews that we have there. Here's some 5-star reviews from Apple Podcasts. This one here, this is from Half Pint A9, and this one has the title Roy's Job Fair. 5-star review. I never heard Josh Johnson until I heard him on Roy Wood Jr.'s Job Fair episode Extra Cold when he told the story about his uncle pulling up to... You've told me this story. Pulling up to Church's Chicken with his own chicken to be dropped in the grease. That is a great story. I couldn't stop laughing. I had to Google this guy to find who he was. Let me admit, his voice doesn't match his face. How does that make you feel?
I've heard it before.
Him and Logan are the perfect duo. Also, Logan's timing is always dead on. This podcast made my life perfect, even though the pandemic. And I'm also a Hot Grape Patreon tier person. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
To go from being like, I've never heard of this person, and then now you're part of the Patreon. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's very kind.
That's
Hot
fantastic.
Grape especially.
Yeah. There's many tiers, so go check out Patreon if you haven't yet. This one is from Fredo Coy, and this one is titled "Come to PDX." Love the podcast. Y'all should come do comedy in Portland. It would be amazing to see y'all live. That'd be really fun. We'd love to come to Portland. Would be awesome. But we do have, I believe, when this comes out next week, we're going to be in Phoenix together.
Yeah. So get those Phoenix tickets. They're going to be in the show notes.
It's the 15th and 16th of September is when we're there?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. We seem pretty sure. So we'll be in Phoenix at some point. But Portland, we'll try to find time. I've never been to Portland. I'd love to go. Have you been to Portland? Yeah, you have. Probably several times, right?
Mm-hmm.
This one here is from Izzy Belly H. I love this title because it just says, understandably funny. I'm not quite sure what that means, but I like it.
I see why other people.
I get why some people tolerate it. Love the podcast. Reminds me of whenever I with my mother and her siblings and the crazy stuff they say. So I'm glad we remind you of some middle-aged women. Mm-hmm. Love how Josh is naturally the calm type of crazy. And Logan sounds like he is close to calling a psych ward every time, or is just like, we need to talk. Keep it up. Thank you for that one. And this one here, we got these are some couple new ones. This one is as great as almond pumpkin spice creamer, I think is what it says. 5-star review. This is from Reina Do Toxica. When Dulce mentioned Josh had another podcast, I immediately subscribed to this one from your show you do with Dulce. I'm starting. So these reviews are all about how other Daily Show people brought people to. This one has a theme.
Oh yeah.
I'm starting from the older episodes first, and I'm certain it's helping to cure my recent crippling anxiety. Thank you both for the much-needed escape from a new virus every 30 minutes. God, that's fucking right. And whatever disturbing law my state is enforcing. Oh, and by now, you might know this, Josh, but Califia Farms makes a perfect pumpkin spice almond milk. It's not a creamer, but hopefully that still works for you. Go crazy. What an outstanding podcast. Thank you for that. And now you know a good pumpkin spice milk to get. Because that season's coming. It's about to be fall. It's about to be pumpkin coffee creamer season.
It is on the way.
It's on the way. We'll have to do something with that. Should we do some creamer tasting?
Only if you're gonna take it seriously. Like I feel like if this is gonna be,
what does that mean?
I feel like if this is gonna be you being like, yeah, you drank it that time. You know what I mean? I feel like now
I didn't even bring it up. It was someone in the.
Now you know how delicious it is because so many people have written in talking about like I've either done it, I've done it too, or they've been like, hey, here's a suggestion of what you should drink, or hey, did I find the creamer? That now I think you're jealous. I think that you want
no.
some
No,
creamer in your life. I think you want pumpkin everything all the time. Thick, creamy pumpkin liquids.
I also want to be very clear. People have not been messaging and saying, I've also done it because it's stupid. This one, too, is specifically like, hey, here's an alternative of something you should drink that's not just coffee creamer. These are people trying to help you out. These are people trying to be like, oh, this poor boy lost in this mall drinking coffee creamer. let me help him.
You're painting a fraudulent picture. All right.
Okay.
You're mixing, you're conflating two different things.
Okay. It's cute how he acts like he didn't do it, even though, it's on record.
I never said I didn't do it. I said that you're jealous.
I listen, I'm trying to support you in your passions. So that's what I was saying. We could do a sampling. I don't want to drink a whole jug. That'd be insane. But you don't
know insane until you taste a little bit, and then you know what's gonna happen.
That's the craziest sentence you've ever said. You don't know insane until you've tasted a little bit.
You know what? You're gonna drink some, and then you're gonna apologize to me, and then you're gonna beg me not to tell anybody about how wrong you were.
I would never.
Yeah,
I would never apologize to you.
Uh huh. Was there one more you wanted to read, or was that it?
I could do one more. There was another one here, kind of on theme, because I think it was also about, about Hold Up that you do with Dulce. This one's called Cackling Escapism from Purplicious 101. I don't think I've read this one. I went down a rabbit hole on YouTube and found Josh's YouTube page, and when I realized there was more podcasts to consume since I started listening to Hold Up, it has been quite a time. I started with the most recent episodes and was riding the bus and straight up choke laughing in public. Listening to this has been great for escaping from the dumpster fire of the news, and I really appreciate the content. Ooh, not sure if this has been talked about before on the podcast since I have to circle back to the older eps, but what's the worst place/time you laughed out loud?
Oh, wow. Yeah, we should do a whole episode about that.
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah.
Yeah. Give me time to think, because I'm sure
I'm going to think on that.
Yeah.
Oh, I definitely have times. Not only am I a loud laugher, I'm an inappropriate laugher sometimes. So there's plenty of times when I'm the one laughing at something that no one else is.
Yeah.
Even at like comedy, where I'll laugh at like a joke that I like, but like no one else is. So everyone is just kind of looking at me.
Yeah,
and I'm no, that was a funny joke, but like no one else really got it or didn't appreciate. I like good like throwaways too.
Yeah,
but everyone kind of look at me just like, what's this guy's fucking deal? I'm just enjoying the joke. But yeah, we'll come back to that one because that's actually a great question.
Thank you so much for listening to the Josh Johnson Show. We had a great time recording. I hope you had a great time listening. If you are looking to catch up with us on any of the socials, you can find me at Josh Johnson Comedy on Instagram, at Josh Johnson on Facebook. That's wrong. I'll just start again. Thanks so much for listening to the Josh Johnson Show. We had a great time recording. I hope you had a great time listening. If you are looking to catch up with us on any of the socials, you can find me at Josh Johnson Comedy on Instagram, Josh J Comedy on Facebook, at Josh Johnson on Twitter, and at Josh Johnson Comedy on TikTok and YouTube, where we're going to be posting clips of the show. And if you're looking for Logan,
you can follow me on Instagram at Logan M. Nielsen. And if you want to get into the mailbag, you can either leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, because we like to read those, or email us, joshjohnsonshow@gmail.com. Also, one of those reviews brought up our Patreon, Josh Johnson Show. Patreon.com/Josh Johnson Show. We have 4 different tiers there with a variety of bonuses and different stuff going on there, and we put all that stuff in the episode bios, including links to where we're going to be doing shows. We'll be in Phoenix. Any other shows you want to plug coming up that we want to mention? Or
I think that Phoenix is the next one that's soon. Give me 1 second right here.
If you're in Minnesota, I'll be at Rochester, Minnesota, Goonies Comedy Club. It's actually the club I started comedy back. It hasn't been open for 2 years. They're having a grand reopening at a new place, and I'll actually be headlining. So if you are in Minnesota or near it, It's not too far from the Twin Cities, I don't think, if you live up there. But come on down, and then we'll be in Phoenix, and then
Yeah, come through to see Logan, and then Phoenix September 15th and the 16th. And
I'm headlining a show in Mason City, Iowa on the 17th, but that's pretty in the middle of nowhere.
And yeah, I think that's our September right there.
Yeah, and then we have some stuff coming up in October that we'll be talking about coming up. We're going to be in a couple different places, so hopefully more and more regularly we'll be out on the road together. And we want to get to all those places where people are asking us to come. We want to hit all of them, but people need to hire us. Anything else?
No. Everybody have a great week into the weekend.
Yeah. Have a good one.